It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we are going to be ranking every single dark matter that we have right now in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. So before the new season, guys, before season 7, here we go. Okay, here we go. Every single dark matter. Now, before I did this, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna rank the best cards in 2K. And then I got to it, I was like, you look at just the dark matters, who am I going to leave off this list? Like, obviously, you could leave guys, let's say, like a Matt Calvin off the list because he's not the best player in the game, or a guy like Jalen Brunson. But am I going to leave a guy like James Harden, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Dirk, D. Rose, Clyde, Mullen, Bosh, Cedric, all those guys that have the best player list? You just really can't. There's just so many really solid players right now in my team. And so that's why I just had to do it by the dark matter tier, so we could get better separation, first of all, and a better idea of how good each and every one of these players are. Now, before we dive into it, guys, then make sure y'all smash that subscribe button. We're getting really close to 93,000 subscribers. I'm pretty sure we're at 92.9, so make sure to smash that subscribe button ahead of Season 7. First up, Al Horford. Al's not bad, but when we talk about dark matters, I don't think he's an above average dark matter. I would say right below average. Here is average, okay? Between B and C, it's average. And I think Al Horford is right, just that little bit below average. Now, again, we got so many cards today, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each card. Al's problem is his release. Set shot 5 on very quick is not great. Still, though, he can go out there and compete at any level. Albert King, I think, is that step above average. Now, that's not me saying Albert King is a top shooting guard in the game, although I do really like this card. Defensively, really solid. Ray base on very quick dribble style. Does have Kawhi's move behind the back, which is pretty solid. Really solid badge-wise. I mean, Albert King is really good at that shooting guard position in my team. He's better than Alex English. And again, I like Alex English. I'm not going to sit here and say Alex English is bad. Stat-wise, they're pretty close. It just really comes down to the badges as well as animations. Now, again, if you're still running Alex English to this day, he's fine. He's a more than fine card to use. I just don't love him. Alonzo Mourning, I think, is very similar to Al Horford. Now, I will say I think Alonzo Mourning's release is worse. But with that being said, I do think Alonzo Mourning has a little better defense. The plus 32 steal rating. It's hard for me to say Alonzo is at that same tier of Al, though, because I do think Al overall is the better player, although Alonzo does have the better wingspan. You guys can let me know down below in the comments who you guys think is better. I think I am probably taking Al Horford right now, though. Amari Stoudemire, look, guys, I'm not going to sit here and say I love Amari Stoudemire, but I respect him quite a bit, okay? I do think he is better than Al Horford. He might be A tier, but the problem is we got so many good power forwards in my team, right? We got Shaq, we got Wilt, we got Bob Nedelik, we got D-Rob, not on this list, Patrick Ewing. Where does Amari Stoudemire fall in that? I mean, I still think he probably is objectively A tier. I just don't love the card, and that's not me saying Amari's bad, so don't twist my words. I just don't love the card, and I'm similar with AK-47. A lot of people think AK is a top 10 card, or a card that you would play on the best squad in the game. For me right now, I just don't see it, right? Obviously, defensively and playmaker-wise, he's solid. But for me, the problem is the base 98 on quick. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, Ty, it's a fine release. Okay, if that is a fine release, he still doesn't even have quick dribble style. Shift dribble style, KD size escape's fine. Scotty move on the back is also fine. AK is really good in my team. He's at A tier for a reason. And Big Artist is at A tier as well. Now, I'm going to try to sort these by position so it's easier for you guys to see. Artist Gilmore, in my opinion, is not a top 3 center in the game, but right below that, right? I would say in that 4 or 5 range, Artist Gilmore does lie 7'2", 7'5" wingspan, does have hot spots from both quarters, and just absolutely incredible in the defense end of the court, as well as having an easy release to green. When I play against Artist Gilmore, everybody does green with the card. Again, got a long ways to go, so we're getting through it. Ben Simmons up next, and Ben Simmons is an S tier player. Why is Ben Simmons S tier? Because he's a 6'11 point guard that has absolutely no flaws and was one of the best defensive players in the game. There is a critique of Ben Simmons. I would like his release on very quick, but I guess that is what saves him from the dark matter invincible Ben Simmons that inevitably is eventually going to come. But right now, S tier. Bill Laimbeer's F tier. Here's why, okay? I talk about Alonzo Mourning's release, Bill Laimbeer's release is worse, okay? It's worse. And outside of the release, Alonzo Mourning's just a better overall card. So I really don't think it's a very complex problem. The fact that he's a triple threat offline reward is sad. He is not as good as Alonzo Mourning. Blake Griffin, easy addition into A tier, maybe even S tier. When you compare Blake Griffin to Amari Stoudemire, and I'm going to so you guys can see this, a lot of people are going to be like, well, Ty, Amari's going to move better. Oh, okay. Even if that is the case, say Amari does move better. Blake Griffin is by far and away the overall better card. He's just better than Amari Stoudemire. Better, I can't even say better badge-wise because that might not be true. But basically the same badge-wise. Blake's got a way better release. I like Kobe's size of escape combined with shifty dribble style more than quick combined with Amari's dribble 6. And I know that's not what most people would think. Amari definitely can dribble, and if you are a dribble head, you can make him work. I'm just saying, for me specifically, I'm better with Blake Griffin. Bob Nedelecki might surprise you guys. I'm going into S tier. Now, we might make an adjustment at some point, but because of his release, his set shot 25, he's an easy addition into S tier, okay? Set shot 25 and very quick dribble style, really good size ups. Again, perfect tendency-wise. 27 Hall of Famers, including the Hall of Fame catch, shoot, corner specialist, sniper, Hall of Fame quick first step defensively. Super complete. Again, I put him as one of the most underrated players of this season because I really think he is. Bradley Beal up next. And am I wrong by putting Bradley Beal in D tier? I mean, am I wrong for doing that? Is he C tier? But it's one of those things, guys. Strength's not great. Blocks not great. Can't standing dunk. Defensively not great. Shifty dribble style. Kobe size escape. Doesn't have a great behind the back. Rayon on very quick is fine. But he's 6'3", guys. He's 6'3" at the point guard position. And I think for now I got to put him at D tier. Remember, these are of the best dark matters in the entire game. So D tier is not horrible. He might move up to C tier. I'm going to put him at C tier for now. But we'll see. C or D tier is where I'm going to have him. Carmelo Anthony up next. And I'm going A tier for Carmelo Anthony. Somebody asked me yesterday on Twitch. They're like, Ty, is Melo still a good pickup for today? And I was like, LaMelo or Carmelo, because they're both pretty solid in my team. I'm higher on Carmelo Anthony, though. Car has no flaws. No flaws. He's just a way better version of Alex English. Way better. Because he does have the Carmelo on very quick. Has the Kobe size of escape again, which is just extra to add to kind of what Carmelo does. Really solid playmaking, shooting wise, obviously incredible, and I do like the defense that Melo provides. 6'8" at that shooting guard position. Cedric Maxwell, I'm still going S tier. Talk about longevity in my team, you gotta mention Cedric Maxwell, who has been a top 3 shooting guard in the game for over 2 months. That's absolutely absurd. Now, I never recommend locking in sets, but if you locked in Cedric Maxwell, you got your money's worth. It's that simple. Again, I'm not one to lock in very many sets, but you got your money's worth with Cedric. Quick dribble style, Kobe size escape, base 3 on very quick. Absolutely incredible. Still to this day in my team is Cedric Maxwell. Chris Bosh up next. Now, the hard part for me is, do I think Chris Bosh is as good as Blake Griffin? No. Do I think he's... I think I would prefer him to Amari Stoudemire. But the problem is, objectively, guys, he's probably not as good as Amari. I'm shot 70. I'm very quick. I'm going to compare the cards because I know a lot of people love Amari, but I just don't see how he is that much worse than Amari. He's got a better release, in my opinion. Dribbling-wise, not as good. Better player build. I'm doing it, guys. Amari might get moved down. I'm just throwing that one out there for you guys. I don't love Amari Stoudemire, so if Amari gets moved down, I don't want you guys slandering me in the chat, okay? You guys know why it is preference-based. Chris Mullin up next. For now, I'm going to go S tier. He might get moved down. He's going to get moved down. Why? Because I think Chris Mullin is this more similar level to Carmelo Anthony than Cedric Maxwell. Now, it's a slight difference. Really, it's a slight difference. It's all preference between those 3. But I do think if you ask me today how I'd rank them, I would probably start Cedric, bench Mullin, cut Melo. But I do think Mullin is closer to that, to obviously that Carmelo level. Now, again, if you like Mullin as the best, I don't care. If you like Melo as the best, I don't care. I'm not going to argue with you. It's just all preference between those 3. Clyde the Glide for this stage of my team is still B tier. I never really got the chance to use Clyde that much, but if you have Clyde Drexler, you have a really good point guard in my team. And again, you guys might put him at A tier. I just don't think he gives you enough to be at A tier for today's game, but I have free card bias in this. Because I never got Clyde Drexler, I'm not going to be super duper high on him. I got him at B tier. Damian Lillard up next. This card is horrible. What is known does not need to be explained, man. Dame is absolutely abysmal in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. He's horrible. Next up, Derrick Rose. And D Rose, I think, my question to you guys is this. Is D Rose closer to Bradley Beal or is he closer to Clyde Drexler? And I think that's a tough question for me to answer. And so because of that, I'm going to move Bradley Beal down. Because I do think Derrick Rose is better than Bradley Beal, but I don't think he touches Clyde Drexler. And I do think he is on the similar level of an Alex English, Al Horford. Now, again, Derrick Rose does have cheesy dribble sigs, and if you like that, you can make him work. I'm not saying you can't, but for me, I just don't know if I can be any higher than C tier on Mr. Derrick Rose. Big Dikembe Mutombo up next, wherever Artist is where Dikembe is. It's that simple. Now, obviously, Dikembe is going to shoot the ball just a little bit better because he's got a higher 3-ball. Artist is going to be a little better as just far as a complete defensive player. Who's better? I hate to break it to you guys, but it really is preference between Dikembe Mutombo and Artist Gilmore, guys. It is all preference based. Up next, guys, we do see Invincible Dirk, and I would simply be a fool to not put him at that S tier of good. Now, does that mean I think Dirk is the best player in the game? No, but do I think he's better than Bosh, Blake, and Amari? I do. And it's one of those things. I don't love the Dirk Nowitzki release at all. But outside, it's not horrible. It's not a horrible release. And outside of that, he's a perfect card. It's pretty much that simple. If you got Dirk, you got one of the top power forwards right now in the entire game. Donald, is he not Bradley Beal's level? And that's not me saying Donald is bad, but I feel like he's more similar to Derrick Rose. So I am probably going to move him up. I'm not, though, because Derrick Rose is better than him. I mean, he's basically a Derrick Rose clone. But Derrick Rose is better than Don. Oh, it's not even really that close. D-Rose is by far and away the better card to Donald. And I'm sorry if everybody got Donald and you want me to be higher on the card. It's not happening. Donald is closer to Bradley Beal than Derrick Rose. It's that simple. Now, objectively, are you going to notice that much of a difference between D-Rose and Donald? No. But Donald he's definitely worse. And it's that simple. Draymond Green up next. Man, do I love Draymond Green, but he's A tier. And that's remember, A tier is a good tier, and that's where Draymond Green belongs. Great release, great defensively. Very similar level to Andre Kirilenko. Now, if you prefer AK, I don't care. If you prefer Draymond, like me, cool, okay? Those guys are the same tier. And I just have a feeling we're going to have a lot of players at A tier. Dwight Howard's not one of them. If you're running Dwight Howard still to this game, guys, you need a really reality check, because this card for today's game, he's not great. I mean, he's not. He was out for the 250K tournament, and I kind of smiled when people ran this card. Like, he just was not what everybody made him out to be, what everybody thought he would be. And I'm sorry, I ran Pink Diamond Kristaps over you. I'll still give you C tier, but I don't love the card at all. Dark Matter Gary Payton. I'm going to go D tier. Why is Gary D tier for me? Well, I mean, I know his release is bad, but outside of his release, he's still a lot better than Donald. Now, the big question for me is, if I was to go into an absolute sweatfest, would I run Gary or Don? I'd probably run Gary, and that's why he is where he is. I still don't love Gary Payton, and he's definitely a D tier point guard for today's era. Giannis Antetokounmpo up next. Easy addition into S tier. Really easy addition. You can build a starting lineup with the guys I got at S tier right now and have a lot of success. I will say, though, I personally like Giannis more at the small forward than the shooting guard position, just because he doesn't create his own shot very well. But defensively, guys, he's it. I mean, you talk about defense, and I mean, he really is it. He's basically an invincible card on that defensive end of the court. I'm excited to get invincible Giannis, and the crazy part about it, guys, is I don't think we're that far away. Now, yeah, again, if the invincible Giannis plays power forward, you might have to make an adjustment. But, man, do I love Giannis Antetokounmpo. Glenn Rice up next. I'm going to put him in C tier. Glenn Rice is fine, objectively fine. But, again, it comes down to that release. Base 98 on quick. I don't love it. I just don't love it. And if you guys love base 98 on quick, I don't hate you, but it's just one of those things. I prefer Albert King to Glenn Rice. It's just pretty much that simple. And so I'm gonna put Glenn Rice in C tier. He might move up to B tier. Glenn Robinson, I gotta put it the same tier. I don't mind Glenn Rice. I don't mind Glenn Robinson, but neither of them are complete players. Jump shot 29, only on quick though. Why not on very quick? I don't know. Outside of that, guys, just a complete card. But again, they're not great cards in my team. They might get moved up, and they do deserve to get moved up, so I'm going to move them up. I just don't love Glenn Rice or Glenn Robinson in my team, and I certainly do not love Ja Morant. But the more you look at Ja Morant's stats, and I'm not trying to hype this card up, but the more you look at his stats, the more you're like, okay, this card is pretty solid. Now, is he better than Don? Oh, probably not. I mean, he's still probably a D tier card. You're looking at the PG base only on quick. Movement wise, going to be really solid, but I'm sorry if you're using Ja Morant. At this point in my team, he's a D for a dark matter card, because I do think I'd prefer Bradley Beal to the card. Well, I might adjust the point guard position here in a second, but Jalen Brunson is F tier. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Jalen Brunson is horrible in my team. Can you make him work? Sure, but you can make a lot of these dark matters work. Jalen Brunson is absolutely horrible in my team. We're getting through these cards pretty quickly, which was my goal today. Okay, that was my goal, not to spend a whole lot of time on a Jamal Murray. I think Don O is a lot better than Jamal Murray, and that's the problem I'm having here. Jamal Murray's not F tier, but a guy like Don O is better than him. So what I'm going to do is bring Don O up, bring Bradley Beal up, and I think I like this one a little bit more. I'm also going to bring Ja Morant up. Just because it's like all three of those cards that I brought up are way better than Gary Payton and Jamal Murray, but I do think Jamal Murray does belong on that same level of a Gary Payton for today's game. James Harden up next, and you guys might disagree with me. I'm going B tier with James Harden. He is so mediocre in my team. Harden is mid. Is he fine to run? Yes. Is he horrible? No. Is he great in my team? No, I don't love James Harden. And again, that's not me sitting up here in front of you guys saying James Harden's bad and you need to replace him. But when you talk about A or S tier point guards, Harden, simply put, is just not on that level. James Worthy is a tough card to rank. Is he C tier or is he B tier? I'm going to go C tier right now, but I don't mind big game James at all. I think as far as a complete small forward in my team, he's up there, right? I just don't love the upper on his release, but quick dribble style, Kobe size of escape. I can't go any higher. If I go any higher, I'm going to have to, do something with Al, and I really don't want to. Jason Tatum, though, on that same level of AK and Draymond. Now, I will say I do prefer AK and Draymond to Jason Tatum. But if I don't put Jason Tatum on that same level, I'm doing him a disservice. I want Jason Tatum to get his 6'11 wingspan back, because I do think that would help the card out greatly. I love his release, shifty dribble style, Scotty behind the back. Just a very solid overall card in the game. Jerry Sloan, a not very solid card in the game. I looked early on at Jerry Sloan because I got him, and I was like, okay. And again, him being at D tier is not horrible. But I looked at him as far as an Ascension reward, who you don't want to have to apply badges to. The dude doesn't even come with glue hands. So every time he catches the ball, he like bobbles it. After I saw that, I stopped being so high on Jerry Sloan, because that made me really upset. Now, I got both Jimmys in here. I'm only going to be ranking the first one. The other one I'm just going to put at the end. They'd be in the same place, okay? Jimmy Butler objectively is basically the same, and he's going at A tier. Jimmy Buckets has been going absolutely ridiculous in the playoffs. I will say it, and I will admit to you. You gotta be willing to admit when you're wrong. I was wrong about Jimmy Butler. I don't like the guy. I don't like how he goes about things. I feel like it's easy to have a good attitude and look good when you're winning, but when you lose games, I think it's easy to point the blame at other people. Okay, but what I will say is this for Jimmy Buckets. He's hoping in the playoffs, and there's no questioning that. Do like Jimmy Butler in my team as well. As far as the defensive player, there's not many better than Jimmy Buckets. He's A tier for me. Stockton, I'm going C tier with. Now, Stockton, I feel like, is on that Don O type of level for limited rewards. Stockton, I feel like, is more fun to use. Don O is a little bit taller, might be that little bit more competitive. But jump shot 3 on very quick dribble style. Kobe says, save Scotty by moving behind the back. Just a really solid and fun card to use. If you did get John Stockton with the 90 interior, I hate to say it, he can play at any level of my team. Jordan Poole is that same level of point guard. I do not like Jordan Poole in my team. I just don't. I don't think he's very good. You look at the card, Ben McLemore, very quick, it's fine. Quick dribble style is okay. But it's like stat-wise, defensive badge is just not great in my team. But at the same time, he is 6'4", gives you a little more height. And he is better than a guy like Jamal Murray. So, again, guys, we're getting through this pretty quickly. We're about halfway done, halfway through these players. And we're about 20 minutes into this thing. So, doing pretty good on time, I would say. Where was my Derrick Rose? Was he at C tier? Derrick Rose might have to get moved up, but I'm going to move Derrick Rose up. I'm sorry. I think D-Rose is more on the level of James Harden than all these guys I have at C tier. I'm sorry. It is what it is, though. Josh Giddey, our first A tier point guard. Josh Giddey, if you got him as far as a level 40 reward, you got a really good point guard in my team. Now, you guys don't see me use Josh Giddey. Why? Well, the problem is we already had Luka and Michael Jordan coming into this season, as well as the fact that we got Ben Simmons. There was never a moment in which Josh Giddey could even play for me. There was never a spot for me. He wasn't better than Cedric at the 2. There just wasn't a spot for him. But if you can't afford, those top guys, I hate to break it to you, Josh Giddey is that, next level good. Josh Giddey is really, really solid in my team. In a card that you can run probably for the rest of the year. Dr. J, Julius Erving up next. Am I discrediting Dr. J if I don't put him in A tier? That's my big question. Because I do not mind Dr. J, but is he that next level good? Only 6'6". He does have the fro, though. I got to do this. How does he compare to Albert King? Is he a lot better than Albert King? That's where my comparison needs to go. And just, he is a little better. I'm going to leave him at B tier. I'm going to. Because if I move him up, I'm just establishing the standard that he's as good as Melo, Jimmy, and Mullen, and I don't think he is quite as good. I do like Dr. J, and don't take B tier as a negative because he is really solid in my team. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's going S tier, and there's going to be probably more than 10 players at S tier. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But I do love Kareem in my team, and I feel like if I didn't put him at S tier, I would be doing him an utter disservice in my team. Love the card from top to bottom. His release, for me, super quick. Decently easy to green once you get the hang of it. It just is really quick, so some of you guys might be shooting lates with it, but definitely does deserve that S tier. Karl Malone for this era, I'm sorry. C tier. For this era of my team, maybe he still is better and will look, but is he even better than James Worthy? I don't think so. I really don't think so, and I'm going to leave him in this tier. Karl Malone, for his time, was so good. Remember, this card was out before 250K, which just is absolutely absurd. I just do still think for today's game and the fact that he can't even play small forward, he is a C tier caliber player. Kawhi Leonard. If you were in my stream last night, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I put Kawhi Leonard today tier. Obviously, my Kawhi on my road to 250K account has 51 Hall of Fame badges, and I can't rank him like that. But Kawhi is still really good in my team. 6'7", great defensively. Release, though, is what we're talking about. You want a card that greens nearly every light league you're going to shoot with him. It's this Kawhi Leonard card. Combine that, guys, movement-wise is not horrible. Decent height, decent wingspan, and just all around, guys, I am pretty high on this card right here in Kawhi Leonard. Next up, guys, KD. It's tough, though. It's really tough for me because I said it when Draymond Green came out that I think I prefer Draymond Green at my small forward compared to KD. And so it's hard for me. It really is. And when we compare it, I don't think KD is quite S tier. But we'll see. I'm going to put him in S tier right now because if there is anybody I move up from A tier, it would be Kevin Durant. But don't be surprised if he gets moved down because he's probably the first dude that I would move down. Klay Thompson, Dark Matter. For today's game, he's going B tier. I'm sorry. He's not Mullen's level. He's not Jimmy's level, Kawhi level, or Carmelo's level. Klay Thompson is a B tier card in my team. And if you want to complain, please do. He's not that next tier good. He's right with Kobe Bryant at B tier. Obviously, Klay's better than Kobe on next gen. On current gen, give me Kobe Bryant every day of the week. And again, we got to talk about both gens because people still play both gens. Okay, we can't just forget about current gen for today's game. Kristaps up next. Easy addition into S tier. Again, we might have to move some people around, move some people down, but between Kristaps and Kareem, it's really preference based. I love them both. I need you guys to know that. Whether you have Kareem, whether you have Kristaps, I personally love them both. So I don't think you can go wrong with either of those cards. LaMelo Ball up next. Oof. oof for LaMelo. Gotta go A tier. Got to. You just got to. There's really no question about it. Release-wise, really good. Okay? Really good. Movement-wise, okay. They did make him 6'7". I didn't even see this until just now, I guess. Last time I checked, LaMelo was 6'6". Now he's 6'7". That's big for LaMelo Ball. Because with his interior perimeter, that basically means he can guard 1 through 4, maybe 1 through 5 if you have to. Big thing for him, though, is the fact that defensively he's going to be solid and have a really good release. I don't think, as far as a primary ball handler, I love the card. His dribble sticks aren't great, but he is an A-tier caliber of player. Larry Legend up next. I'm going to put him in A-tier, but I'll tell you guys, I prefer Draymond, Kawhi, Tatum, and AK all over Larry Bird. Larry Bird, I don't know what it is. I just don't know if he'll ever get back to what he once was in my team. I loved him in whether it was 2K19, 2K20. I love the card, but I just lately have not been able to figure it out with Larry Bird. I haven't been able to figure out why I don't like him that next year good. He should be absolutely elite in my team. And for whatever reason, I just don't think he's quite as good as the cards above him. King James, he's going A tier. I can't go lower than A tier for King James because I would establish a bad standard for who I think still to this day is the best on-ball defender in the game. You're giving me one guy to guard ball. Life or death situation, I'm taking Bron. I am. I promise you, it's his player build, it's his height, it's his something about him. He just gets so bumpy. I'm excited because a new LeBron should be coming very shortly. Luka Doncic up next. And for King Luka, we're obviously going into S tier. Whether you play him at the point guard or shooting guard position, I don't care. He's S tier. There's no need to talk about it, guys. The craziest part about this whole year, man. Craziest part about this whole year is we got Luka Doncic a month and a half ago. And on next gen, he's still the best player in the game. You guys need me to repeat that? Okay. We got Luka Doncic a month and a half ago. Do you guys realize that is a month and a half ago, 2.5 months? Nearly 20% of 2K's lifespan has been ran by this guy. 25% of the lifespan of 2K has been ran by this Luka Doncic card. Absolutely ridiculous in my team. Matt Calvin up next. Do I think he's as bad as Jalen Brunson, Damian Lillard? No, I don't. Do I think Matt Calvin is good? No. But I don't think he's quite that bad. Defensively fine. Hall of Fame mismatch expert. Step base. I'm very quick. Quick dribble style. Kobe. Size of escape. Scotty boom. Back. I'm not saying he's good. But I'm taking him over Brunson and Dame every day of the week. Magic Johnson up next. We're going A tier for Magic Johnson. Again, there's just something about Magic that it's going to be hard for him to ever be as good as he once was in old 2Ks. I still don't mind the card. Still think, he can compete at that highest level. It's just, I don't think, for a tall point guard, he's the best. I mean, is he better than Josh Giddey? Probably, but it's so close. And for the MT, guys, if you have Giddey, just please run Josh Giddey. Marcus Smart up next. Marcus Smart's a B tier point guard. He is. And a lot of people don't love Marcus Smart, but my question to you is why? I mean, the card is so complete defensively, offensively, quick dribble style, KD size of escape, jump shot 6'6", I'm very quick is fine. Marcus Smart is really good in my team. Now, he's only 6'3", so that's kind of worrisome, but I do like Marcus Smart in my team. Markelle Fultz, a card a lot of people love, but for me, in my opinion, is he as good as Marcus Smart? I don't think so. Now, I think you can make the debate that he probably is nearly B tier, and I'm going to put him at B tier. But I think when it comes down to it, I still prefer Marcus Smart. Now, again, let's compare the cards side by side. Just like I got to. With what he does on interior defense, stuff like that, I think I got to put Marcus Smart ahead of him. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave him there, because I know a lot of people love Markelle Fultz. Marquez Johnson up next. I feel like one of the most underrated shooting guards in the entire game. And if you got this card, you got a really, really solid card. Let's start with his release. Jump shot 8 on very quick is good. Quick dribble style. Dribble 6 outside of that are not great, but defensively really solid as well. Again, I did a gameplay with this guy, and I thought to myself, why is nobody talking about him? Do think he is that level of like an Albert King type of card. Michael Jordan up next. The other card in my team, in my opinion, that you can debate is better than Luka. Now, on current gen, definitely think Michael Jordan has that upper hand. On next gen, I think Luka has that upper hand. Obviously, it's really personal preference. Luka's not good on current gen, so if you do play on current gen, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Mikal Bridges up next. Mikal going into B tier. As far as a pure lock, I get it if you love Mikal. For me, he's only 6'6", right? He's only 6'6", and that's kind of the problem with the card. Still really solid in my team. Jump shot 80 on quick is straight up and down, fine release. Defensively, he gets absolutely busy. Yao Ming up next. Honestly, this is another card you can debate is the best overall card in the game, is Yao Ming. And I would not debate it. Now, I think he's better on, I can't even say he's better on one gen or the next because he is so chicken on both gens. Yao went from strictly just being a masher to now a really solid defender, an absolute sharpshooter, and just the best big in the game by a large margin. Jokic up next. And this one might make a lot of people mad, but I do not like Jokic in my team at all. I don't even know, is he as good as Al Horford? I don't think he is. I'm sorry, guys. I do not like Jokic in my team. He's going C tier. I'm sorry, because I know a lot of people like Jokic. I just don't see it for him. I'm sorry, I just don't. I know a lot of you guys like him because of the DBG, but I just don't see it with the card. Patrick Ewing, gotta go A tier. I mean, you got to. Talk about the power forward center position. Patrick Ewing can play both. He's absolutely elite. Now, he does have jump shot 4 on quick instead of very quick, so that's something to kind of look at, but really good player model. Defensively, absolutely elite. I'm a pretty big fan of Patrick Ewing in general. Ray Galaxy Opal up next, or Dark Matter, I should say, not Galaxy Opal. C tier. I mean, that's where he belongs. I mean, if you want to talk him up anymore, I guess you can probably convince yourself, but card's not great. Ray base only on quick, shifty dribble style, can't really move and groove. Defensively, actually pretty solid. I mean, that's the one thing I will say about him and give him his credit where it's due. Is on the defensive end of the court, he is pretty solid. Dumas up next, and I'm not very high on Dumas. I mean, if you're talking at the small forward position, do I prefer Dumas or do I prefer Worthy? I prefer Worthy. I know he was a free card in the triple threat offline, and if you got him, he's fine. Okay, he's fine. Jump shot 22 on quick, guys. That's all there is needed to be said. That is just such a slow release for today's game. And then let's talk about Richard Jefferson. I'm going into S tier. He 110% belongs in S tier. If you want to debate that he doesn't, you're just simply wrong. And I don't even have him on my Xbox Road to 250K account. But if you do not think Richard Jefferson does belong in S tier, you're just wrong. He can move, he can groove. Defensively, he's absolutely elite. And remember, guys, everybody had the chance to get this card for free. So if you didn't get the Richard Jefferson, who was free, and you want to complain that 2K didn't drop enough free content for you, go take a hike. Where Russell Westbrook is F tier. Release on normal timing. I'm not wasting any more time. Russ is horrible. Scottie Pippen is the person that's going to kick KD out of this S tier. I don't want too many players in S tier. KD is gone. Now, why do I like Scottie Pippen? Well, let's go back to this, okay? If we recap and go back to what happened in the 250K tournament, Scottie Pippen might have been my MVP. I mean, he was absolutely elite. So now we got a better version of Scottie that has 99 everything stats, 65 Hall of Famers. It's pretty easy to explain why he's in S tier. Obviously, so overpriced for everybody watching this video, but Scottie Pippen is really, really good in my team. This Shaq, wherever Dwight Howard is. I mean, he's still defensively is absolutely elite. 7'1", can play the 4, can be a cheese ball for some, but he's just not very good. Invincible Shaq, yeah, let's just go ahead and bring you into S tier. I mean, let's just go ahead and give credit where it's due. Invincible Shaq is easy S tier caliber player. I'm gonna do 3 at each position of S tier. So Luka, Michael Jordan, Ben Simmons, all point guards. Obviously Cedric, Scottie, RJ, all shooting guard small forwards. So we need 2 more shooting guard small forwards. Okay, just keep that in the back of your mind. I'm looking down here, we're gonna have to maybe make an adjustment because I see somebody I want to bring in S tier, but I want a total of 15 players in S tier. Let's just put it like that. Spencer Dinwiddie up next. Now I'm gonna put Spencer Dinwiddie in B tier. Is Spencer Dinwiddie as good as Marcus Smart? I think they're on that same level, right? 6'6", 6'8" wingspan, really solid defender. Hall of Fame pick dodger, playmaker-wise, absolutely elite. Can move decently. I really love his release. The epitome of a B tier point guard in my team. Steph Curry, you're a D tier. For this stage of my team, I mean, a lot of people like Steph Curry or want to run Steph Curry. He's horrible. Steph Curry will never be good in my team. It's just that simple. Terry Dishinger up next. And I hate to do it, but the dentist is A tier. I mean, right here, on current gen, probably better than Molin, but he's right in that same level as Molin, as obviously Cedric came out as a lock-in. Rudy Base only on quick dribble style, Scotty on the back. I hope they put like an invincible Terry on triple threat board, something like that. That would be fire. By the time you guys are watching this, you guys are going to know. I'm personally still awaiting on that. But up next, we do see Thurl Bailey. Thurl for this time and era. I'm going to put him right with James Worthy. Whether you prefer Thurl, whether you prefer James Worthy, that's up to you guys. I can't really say anything on those two, but both those cards are pretty solid in my team. T-Mac, right with the Alex English, Ray Allen to the world. Cards that obviously were out at the time 250 was played. But the thing is, T-Mac, I think his release is on normal timing. We can go look at it. But we're due for a new T-Mac. That's the whole thing. Trey Burke base, normal timing, slasher dribble style, which honestly, guys, for this era is just a little bit outdated. Kobe size of escape does save a little bit, but I'm excited for a T-Mac with quick with the Kobe size of escape. He's going to move and groove. Trae Young, is he even worthless? That's my question, you guys. Is Trae Young worthless? I don't think so. I really don't. Why? Because he has all Trae Young's dribble skills. Trae Young based on quick, which on current gen is an absolute cheeseball. I'm going to put him at D tier. I don't think he's necessarily great, but I do think he's D tier. Vince Carter up next. Vince was that great free card of last season. He really was. He was an absolutely fantastic free card that you guys had the chance to get last season. I didn't get him. Kind of regret not getting him, but he is so good. I really do think Vince is really solid going into B tier. I'm moving Dr. J up. Dr. J doesn't belong on the level of Kobe and Clay. He just doesn't. He belongs at A tier. Okay? So right now, I mean, we got 5 players left. Willis Reed is horrible. I guess he's not that bad, but Willis Reed is not very good in my team. If you do want to play with the power forward position, you can. Just not great in my team. Do think he is the level of Alonzo Mourning, for example. Will Chamberlain, this is the card that deserves S tier. I mean, he utterly does deserve S tier, and so I'm putting him in S tier. What does this mean? Well, here's what it means. I guess we're just having 4 power forwards on here. I'm not removing Shaq, I'm not removing Dirk, and I'm not removing Nedelecki. It's just what it is gotta be. I'm just not. I simply can't. And Wilt definitely does deserve S tier. So this stage, it is what it is. Zach LaVine, as far as point guards are concerned, is an A tier point guard. Step above the guys like a Dinwiddie, a guy like Marcus Smart, on the same level as a LaMelo Ball type of card. Quick dribble style, LaVine dribble 6, Zach LaVine base on very quick, absolutely. Defensively, I don't love his player build, but outside of that, strictly offensively is absolutely elite. Zion Williamson, A tier. I mean, I know we got a lot of A tier small forwards, but you can't really separate a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys are just really good in 2K. And so to separate them, I would be doing them a disservice. And again, we've already talked about Jimmy Butler. So let's count the guys in S tier. I said I wanted 15 in there. Let's talk about it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I got to move one player from A tier into S tier, okay? And it's got to be a shooting guard, small forward, okay, or point guard. Got to be below a 3. So if I was to move a point guard up, I'm not going to, but I don't know. Point guards, none of those guys deserve to move up. Shooting guard, okay? I would say my top 2 shooting guards to get moved up. I'm going to give you guys 3. Carmelo, Jimmy, and Chris Mullin. Small forwards, you're looking at Zion or KD probably is what you're looking at. So I think it really comes down to Kevin Durant or probably Jimmy Butler, Chris Mullin. I'm going to move KD up. I do think he's probably the most deserving to get moved up into that S tier. So I just ranked 80 cards, guys. 80 cards. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Try to get through it pretty quickly, about a 35, 40 minute video. So let me know your thoughts on these cards down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.